Welcome, folks. Join us.
Well, good morning. Morning to everyone who is here in person and to everyone who's out there in the universe. We welcome all of you with grateful hearts, happy hearts, joyful hearts, loving hearts. That's our wish for you. Now and then, something happens on television that redeems my attitude towards much of television, and this morning was one of those events. I have no idea what the ad was for, but the ad had something to do with the exclamation that there is a power inside of you that allows you to live your passion. And that is so, so true. That power, we at Unity and other like-minded associations have an agreement that there is one power in the universe, and that power is God, the good, governing, guiding every aspect of our life when we allow it to, when we recognize in faith with faith that that's the truth of our being. It's the truth that governs the universe. And so, following that, on the Jane Pauley show, there was an interview with Alicia Keys. And she evidently has a new musical in New York City. And she was asked if she intended, if her hope was, for it to make its way to Broadway. And she said, well, of course, that's my big dream. One of the things about having faith in a power of God that is good and that guides us is that it allows us to dream really, really big. And to be assured that that dream has its genesis in the Spirit of God that motivates us, that nudges us forward, that instills that dream in our hearts and our souls, and gives us all of the gumption that it takes to make a dream come true. And so with that, We begin our service today, and my hope is that the safety, that knowing that God is the only power of good in the universe, instills within you the acceptance, the reward of dreaming really big dreams for yourself, for your family, for those who you love dearly, for those whom you hold in your hearts and your prayers on the other side of the world, and even beyond this world. It's available to them. So here we go. We are going to start by saying our vision, mission, and value statements. If you will repeat them with me, they're up here on the board for you, okay? So our vision statement: a world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And our mission statement: advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values: abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And we celebrate our children by saying together, Unity of Appleton sees the divinity of all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. Continuing with the daily word, faith. Faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. Sometimes I wish I had a way of looking into the future, knowing what to expect. But even though I cannot know how the future might unfold, I can still be prepared for it through the power of my faith. Having faith means I have unwavering fidelity to spiritual truth. My faith is my anchor, keeping me steady during shifting worldly circumstances, focused not on the things of the world, but on the power of spirit. My faith keeps me steadfast in the midst of uncertainty, inventive when met with stagnation, adaptable when facing changing circumstances. I turn my attention to God and feel my soul illumined by my belief that everything is working for good. I align with this truth and go forth blessed by my faith. From 2 Corinthians, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And if you would like to join me with repeating the message at the top, faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. And now for more music.
So this morning, lucky you guys, our world premiere of this song.
You'll recognize the tune.
Yeah, you'll recognize the tune because it's an old tune. And it's one of those things where it pops into one of our heads and it's like, oh, hey, let's do this one. So for those of you who haven't been here before, then what we call unitize the lyrics so that we can sing them in church. And
Here we are.
And here we are. You'll recognize it. Sing along if you want to.
This
That's
is a
right.
fun one.
Flipped it on its head.
Let go my old self, now I'm brand new. I sure am happy, no longer blue. New thoughts I'm thinking have set me free. I know divine love is part of me. with limits, I'm through with lack. No need to worry, no looking back. Spirit is with me when things get tough. I know within me that I'm enough. Hello, love. Hello, happiness. Goodbye, loneliness. Let my spirit fly high. Hello, love. Hello, happiness. Goodbye, emptiness. Let my spirit fly high. Let my spirit fly high. Hello, love. Hello, happiness. Goodbye, loneliness. I let my spirit fly high. Hello, love. Hello, happiness. Goodbye, emptiness. I let my spirit fly high. I let my spirit fly high. I let my spirit fly high. Hello, love.
Now you can clap hands. So our speaker this morning is none other but the lovely, the talented, the marvelous Reverend Marylou, who really needs no introduction. So yay, welcome Marylou.
Good morning, my friends. It's a wonderful day in my consciousness. I hope that it is for you as well. Welcome to my kitchen. It actually is exactly what prompted the title of my talk. I don't know about you, but I just got one of these newfangled mirrors. This mirror is the glass top to the stove. And if you have a new glass top stove, you know what a pain it is to keep it clean. And it's a mirror all the time of what I did the last time I was on the cook stove. Whether I cleaned up after myself or did all the grits and the oatmeal end up all over the place. It is a constant cleaning of that glass mirror. And that's what prompted me to call this talk, Mirror, Mirror, Who's the Fairest? Of course, I want my mirror to reflect well on me. I want it to be beautiful all the time. I want it to be shiny, not have smear marks. I want it to be nice and polished. I spend more time cleaning that cooktop than anything else hardly in my kitchen. It's crazy. It's because I'm feeling afraid somebody's going to walk in and see my dirty cook stuff. This is crazy. But this is exactly the issue that we have. We are so concerned about the form. We are so concerned about how things look that we forget it isn't the form that we're working on. It's actually the consciousness. So I'm going to ask you a question to take a moment and reflect inside. Does the world that you see around you look safe and loving? Does the town that you're living in, the roads that you travel on, feel safe and loving? How about in your county, in your state, in the country, in the world? Did you notice how some of those felt okay, fine, and others didn't feel so good? We're in a brand new place where they have twisty, turny roads up and down mountains. And, I haven't really gotten very comfortable yet with my new lenses of love to say that I really want to drive after dark on the mountainous roads. They don't feel safe to me. Now, what is that about the roads? Well, yes, there are some conditions that I would say are, there are some conditions there. But the truth of the matter, the fear isn't out there. The fear is in me. One of the biggest ideas in our philosophy, in our approach to the Christed consciousness that Jesus came to talk about, is life is consciousness. What we look at, we see with. That is a derivation of the quote from Ernest Holmes, that life is our mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he or she thinks into it. Just like my wonderful black mirror cooktop. I can either work on the projector screen of life, or I get to turn it around and take responsibility for what I'm projecting onto the consciousness. That's my challenge, is to recognize that out there is related to in here. And that if in here was connected to the power and the presence and the activity of all that is, and I felt safe in God, no matter where I am, there is nothing and no one against me, then I would have a different experience. So let's go back to that cue material that we were talking about the last time I was with you. In the scripture from Matthew and Luke, we find what is the origins of what we now call the Lord's Prayer. And specifically, there are a couple of lines I want us to look at. One of them is, forgive us our trespasses, for we forgive others their trespass. Now, that sounds like even exchange to me, and I don't really think that's the way Jesus meant it. But one of the kids' phrases that I heard about this line from the Lord's Prayer is, forgive the trash in our baskets as we forgive those who put it there. That's the whole issue, isn't it? We think that we have trash in our basket and somebody out there put it there. Well, yes, we do get triggered. We've been trained to collect trash in our baskets and make it about other people and make it about the world and recognize that mirror, mirror, who's the fairest of them all is about me. I want to look good all the time. And when I don't, I want to blame it on somebody out there doing it to me, whether it's my beloved partner in life or them or they or those folks out there. I don't know. It can't be me. I'm the fairest of them all. But the Lord's Prayer, going back to the Aramaic, uses these same lines and interpreted through the Aramaic understanding, the language, the lens of the Aramaic world. This world of consciousness was very nature-based. That's why we have lots of scripture that uses examples from nature, is because that's what they were growing, that's what their culture was. And so I love that shift. It's not about the form, it's not about the Greek form, about trespasses and debts. It's about untie the knots within us as we let go of the strands we hold of another's guilt. You see, when I make somebody else the reason I'm upset, I'm not looking within to do the work that's inside me that would contribute to the solution and not the problem. Second part could be translated, untie the knots within so that we can heal our hearts. Simple ties to the other. An inside out experience. As within, so without. As above, so below. Forgiveness. You see, love is forgiving. Love is forgiveness. Love is giving forth love instead. Eric Butterworth said that forgiveness is giving forth love instead of taking somebody's inventory, of projecting my discomfort on somebody else's trash, no matter where it is. The challenge we have is that we have been trained to attack in response. We've been trained to think that we respond with fear to attack, instead of being able to hold that fear, that problem, that piece of trash, and understand, why would you think that I need this? Or how can I help you get rid of this trash so that neither of us have to deal with it? That is the great lesson. The great lesson is that it's not just love and fear. Those are our emotional extremes. But it's, how do I unlearn to experience fear without that defensive reactivity? Jesus said, turn the other cheek, go the extra mile. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. This is how we unlearn that we can push pause for that moment. We have to learn, as Daniel Nehemiah's song says, that love is our decision. It's a decision we have to make every single minute, every single hour. We have to decide what we're going to do with this trash that we keep throwing around and blaming it on everybody else and not taking our own responsibility for this. The Course in Miracles says, defenselessness is where my safety lies. And when I first heard that phrase, I remember no one understood why Jesus could stand before Herod when Herod said, you have the opportunity in this moment to defend yourself and tell me why I shouldn't crucify you, just like all the other rebels and people who incite rebellion in this state of occupation. Why do I not? And Jesus stood there knowing his truth, for it was in his defenselessness his safety lay. It wasn't in protecting his body. It wasn't in protecting his reputation. It wasn't in protecting that which is in essence meaningless when we're talking about God. That all that is consciousness. He knew in that moment that his safety lied in being spirit and not the body. That's a big learning curve. And in that process of letting go, he said, for this I have come. For this moment, I have come to tell you what it means to live a life of love and to not be attached to the forms and the outcomes. Why call me good? Only God is good. Only God is fully mature. Only God is fully ripe and able to give forth good all the time. But our task is to figure out how to unlearn this attack response. How do we push pause? How do we push pause and collect ourselves in the moment of egregious pain and suffering and anger, looking at bombs going off and children dying and the world coming to an end? I mean, that's the way the drum beat's going. And yet, we have an opportunity as spiritual beings to be here in the presence of fear and worry and doubt and debt and not react, not respond, but be conscious of, mindful in that moment of what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Be connected enough to the truth of our beingness to recognize that if and when we respond with love, love makes a way where there appears to be no way. Love makes the way when there appears to be no way. The consciousness there is a learned practice, a practice of giving love instead. Now, many of you probably know the story behind the Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian principles around forgiveness. I was taught by somebody who heard the story that talked about that the kahunas thought that every time we think of somebody, we're building that invisible thread of energy between us. That divine life force energy goes back and forth and forth and back. And that the task in forgiveness is to cut those energy fields. Cut those energy threads that trigger us into fear and pain and worry and doubt and debt. Because those worry, fear, doubt, debt is all an internal experience of being worried about somebody's going to see my black mirror. The consciousness is, how am I going to respond? How am I going to learn how to respond out of love? So in the Ho'oponopono teachings, they talk about somebody, and I can't remember his name and I didn't look it up, but who talked about that he learned this principle and he used it as a psychologist who was responsible with others who were closing down a mental health assignment. This is many, many decades ago. And what they did is they came and brought him every day the stack of files that were related to the patients in his care. And every day he would go through looking at the name, looking at the file, but not opening it necessarily, and said, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And that life force energy that he was experiencing, he would share with the person through this mechanism of the file, their mental health history. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And when he could get to that point of love and then cutting all those ties, I love you. Thank you. Now, this is a very powerful practice that when we learn how to hear another's pain, because usually what happens when somebody scares the hell into us, what they're doing is they're sharing a call for love. Now, we haven't been taught to see it that way. We've been told it's all about demand energy. It's all about fighting words. Oh, it's not. It's a call for love. It's a call for awareness. It's a call to say, hey, I'm over here and my needs aren't getting met. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. So that practice is powerful. What triggered for me my remembrance of this is John Mundy in his newsletter this week talks about this story. He said that a reader sent in how she was using this to respond in a very scary situation. She lives in New York City. She's a little tiny woman. And she was out in the parking lot of the shopping center, putting her groceries into her car. And this man charged up to her, a big man that terrified her just by his physical presence and his demeanor. He was wild and crazy and calling her names and her first thought was to jump in the car and lock all the doors and be safe. Leave the groceries with her, whatever. And then, in that moment, she remembered this practice of recognizing the situation and said, oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And the man was taken back. He literally stopped in his tracks. She said, again, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And their eyes locked. And she just was there in that love, consciousness, giving forth love instead of the fears that had gone through her mind and heart and body. And she said, I love you. And he put his arms down and his whole demeanor changed. She said, thank you. Thank you. He took a deep breath, and there was the shopping cart between them. And she said, would you be willing to put up my grocery cart for me? And with that, the man turned around with the cart and walked away. That doesn't happen because she attacked and responded and reacted with either fear or fright or freeze. No, instead, in that moment, she found a third way, a way that neither made the other a perpetrator, and she was not the victim. As above, so below. As within, so without. Love is forgiving. Forgiving itself eternally. Holding a vision of no matter what, we can learn to love. Now, this practice of Ho'oponopono is cutting the ties. And sometimes we do need to cut the ties, and we do need to create distance and space. But we can hear it as a call for love and respond in that way. It is our task to learn how to push pause. And we have to practice. It's not a this or that experience. We have to take practice sessions to unlearn the ways of the world, to unlearn the fear and the drum beats. Don't mean for us to get riled up in our consciousness. Every time I hear the stories of what's happening on our planet, my soul, my heart breaks. If I'm in that breakable place of really hearing what's going on, sometimes it really just goes in one ear and out the other. But when I push pause and recognize the fear, recognize the pain, then I have to learn how to push pause and respond appropriately for that situation. And I'll probably not get it right the first time. Just like cleaning that black mirror on my stove. It's taken a whole lot of days to figure out how to clean it, much less how to cook on it. Let me tell you, it's like, oh my gosh. But it's worth the effort. It's worth the effort to figure out how to love instead of react in fear. It's worth it because it changes the dynamic. We are changing the very fabric of the universe when we, instead of being triggered, respond to those calls of love. So how does the world look around you? Does it look safe and loving? Does it feel safe in your family, on your street? Well, maybe your challenge today is to figure out how to take one step towards love, towards creating that safe and caring space. And that's the challenge for us, is to find something every day to stretch our ability to unlearn a fear response and instead come with faith. Faith in a power and a presence and an activity of God, the good, all power, omnipotent, present, alive in us, through us, and as us. So that's your homework this week, is to find something every day where perhaps you used to respond with fear and angry and worry, blah, 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 blah. And choose again to find a way to respond in love. Because you know what happens with practice? You make progress. So I'm going to invite you to move within as we prepare our time for meditation. And how I'm going to invite you to do that is to close your eyes, get comfortable in your chair, and put your hands on your heart. And you feel your heart. And you hear your heart. My heart is beating in the peace of God. My heart is beating peace of God. Surrounding me is all the life that God created in God's love. I am safe. I am at peace. My heart is beating in the peace of God. God's peace calls to me in every heartbeat. God's love calls to me in every breath. Breathing in and breathing out in trust. God's peace calls to me in every action, in every thought. Relaxing, softening. I feel God's peace filling my heart, flooding my body with the purpose of love. Filling my mind with ways that I can choose love instead. My mind is healed. All that I need is given me. Each heartbeat gives me peace. Each breath infuses me with strength. All the life that God created is filled with love. In this moment, feel the heartbeat of those that are gathered with you on this day, in this room. Each one of us is surrounded by the life that God created in love. With every heartbeat, with every breath, we work together in coherence, in harmony, and peace fills our hearts. It's in every action and within every thought. Peace fills our hearts and floods our body, our connection with the purpose of love and giving forth love instead. Our minds are healed. All that we need to save the world is given us. With the next breath, with the next heartbeat, feel others of like mind and heart around the planet joining you in this echo chamber of God's love, God's peace, and that our hearts are beating together in harmony. God's peace in every breath, in every thought, in every action. We release and let go what no longer serves. Our minds are healed. And we become messengers of God, directed by His voice within, sustained in God's love, held forever quiet and at peace within God's loving arms. Each heartbeat calls God's name. And every heartbeat is answered by His inner guidance system, assuring us we are home, we are safe in God. So imagine our blue-green planet alive, alert, pulsing with this energy that transforms lives because of our willingness to link our heart, our minds, with the mind of God, teaching us a way of living, a way of loving. Breathing it in, breathing it out. We allow it to be, and so it is, and so we let it be. In this moment, in this place, all is truly well. Thank you. I love you. Namaste.
Hold that thought as we continue our meditation in a different form for those we care about, even when we don't know who they are. After this wonderful meditation, we enter into communal prayer. Please bring to mind a person or persons or a situation and connect your flow of divine energy to their divine energy. Softly, silently say the person's name or the circumstance. As you do, see them as Spirit sees them, whole, perfect, healthy, free, peaceful, safe. Affirm that the inner perfect radiance of the divine is at the heart of all there is, for everybody, for everything. We center our attention on Spirit's eternal presence within and draw upon this awareness. So we affirm all good, all wholeness, all health and abundance that exists forever within each of us, regardless of current situations. Even in the midst of challenges, we know in our hearts all is well. Because we live and move in the infinite truth of love, nothing separates us from this truth. We are one in it, and our well-being is guaranteed by it. We rest forever in love's presence, and so it is. If you would like to call to mind, after all of that, a person, a place, a situation, and speak that out loud in a silent whisper, perhaps, that gives it the energy to transmit and to transform all into love for a minute or two. All is well, and so it is. Amen. And now we move from prayer to our affirmation of prosperity, which is also a prayer, by the way. This is the time when those of us who feel Unity of Appleton as our home practice putting Spirit first in our financial life. This practice prospers the spiritual community we love and supports our own spiritual growth and prosperity. Please give whatever amount Spirit guides you to give. Whatever that amount is, hold it in your hand, bless it with your love. If you are one of those who give electronically, take the gift into your heart. Feel free to bless the plate as it passes by. Let yourself feel grateful to God in you as your source, and then please join in our affirmation of prosperity, which you can read with me up there. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of Spirit, in the flow of divine abundance, and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And then pray with me the celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love, and I trust God as my source. And now more music as we receive the offering.
Let it be easy, balance to know. Let it be easy,
And it's time for announcements. Here they come. Okay, a YouTube channel. Get all that information. If you've got your phones handy, put it in your note thing. If you got paper and pencil, write it down. All kinds of ways to stay in touch with us. A big thank you to those who've worked so hard to make the outdoor space look so updated and inviting. It's a work in progress, just like the seasons are. And we can all make a difference. Unity of Appleton is having a food drive for St. Joseph's Pantry. Bring non-perishable goods to Unity by November 30th. There is a box over in our Community Action Center. It's getting filled up. I'm going to go to a store after I'm finished with things here today and load up on things. You know, the whole idea of non-perishable goods has so exploded. It's going to be a real adventure for me to go up and down the aisles and looking at all of the new things that are in boxes that used to have to be in a cooler, in the milk case, for instance. All kinds of things are new in the market, so enjoy. Next Sunday, November 19th, is the celebration of Unity of Appleton's 40th year as a spiritual community. Sandra McKinney, the Reverend, will begin by speaking about the spiritual significance of the numeral 40 at our 10 a.m. service. Afterwards, there is a community joyful celebration downstairs in the cafe. Cake, ice cream, conversation. Bring your friends to help share this time of celebration. 40 years is a significant number of the past and 40 years into the future, and then some. Mantra music journey. Come sing with us, rock your body, dance in the mood, and bask in the ocean of sacred sounds and heart connection with soul family. Not a singer? No problem. Come and immerse in the sound current and be. $22 a person, pre-register online or pay at the door. And that is brought to us by the Brilliant Bliss. And we have the Brilliant Bliss right here with us today.
Ask the lovely lady, the glasses and the green.
Saba.
Right there, yep.
Mark and
Yeah.
Savi are right here.
Yeah.
Mark and Savi.
So if you have any questions, if you need encouragement, who needs encouragement to come and sing and dance and just be immersed in sacred music? Come. Right here. Right here, just as we did for the Panache Desai thing. We can move chairs aside, make yourself comfy, and get ready to wiggle. Okay.
If the spirit moves you.
If the spirit moves. It will. Okay, what's next? Ongoing book clubs. The Dream, the Journey, Eternity, and God meets here on Monday nights at 6 o'clock. Come and join us, even if you've not come before. We share the readings and lots of vigorous conversation results from it. So it's my favorite thing to do, so come and join. And then the ongoing thing is Living Untethered by Michael Singer. That meets right after service today, upstairs, I think. At 11:15 or so. Take time to grab a cup of coffee, whatever else is down there, and bring it upstairs, and we will continue. Again, we read it as we go along, conversation ensues, and it's a great, great time. And on the new side of things, The Grace Factor by Alan Cohen, Thursdays from 1 to 2, and Deb Walker is guiding us through that. So lots of things going on here. Anything next? When you get a chance, please check out the Life at Unity scrapbook in the back, made by our very talented Karen Sophie, who is downstairs at the time, I guess. Okay. A reminder, the prayer box is by the Connect and Service table. Prayer requests are kept confidential. Prayer is also available after Sunday services from any member of the prayer team. In addition to that, the prayers that come, especially at least through the prayer box, are prayed by a prayer committee here at Unity, and then they are sent on to Silent Unity, for which they are prayed over for another month at least. So, tremendous source of protection, of guidance, of that still voice that comes through the ethers through prayer.
And if the people who are part of that,
Pardon?
Bedford said two people could raise their hands, those of you who are part of the prayer
The
team?
prayer team.
Because prayer is also available after any service.
Right.
Any one of those lovely people.
Check in with any one of those whose hands have just gone up. Great idea. And it's not too early to think about the holidays. Want to get into the holiday spirit? Be a bell ringer. Unity celebrates our community by ringing bells for the Salvation Army on Friday, December 15th from 6 to 7, followed by a bash at Glass Nickel Pizzeria. Bells will be ringing at Walgreens on Northland, Fleet Farm on West Wisconsin, and the main entrance to Woodman's on Northwest Hill Drive. No experience required, just a friendly smile, a limber bell ringing wrist, and there is a sign-up sheet in the back of the building here. And, my goodness gracious, save the date. Return to the light with loving awareness, a winter solstice celebration, Thursday, December 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. Brilliant Bliss mantra music journey, return to the light candle ceremony, community tea and treat reception. Join the festivities at Unity of Appleton. Kindly RSVP by 12/17. And there is the address, info@lovingawareness.org. A free will offering will be appreciated as it's received. Okay. And now I invite you to stand, raise your hands, put a smile on your face, bigger than ever, and say with me, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God protects us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we go out with music. Oh.
We have fallen down again tonight. In this world it's hard to get it right. Try to make your heart feel like a glove. What it needs is love, love, love. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Happy is the heart that still feels pain. Our darkness drains and light will come again. Swing open up your chest and let it in. Just let the love, love, love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants tree of roses.